Hello, Bellatini art noodles. That's what I'm going to call you guys. My noodles. Hello, 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 and welcome to Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live. We're just here chatting, and hopefully we have our friends tonight. I was not able to make it last night due to a few factors. One, I was not mentally with it as much as I wanted to be. And there was a storm that was potentially bringing like some smaller tornadoes to our area. It's not weather that we get here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm just cleaning up my mess from yesterday because that's how I work. I typically work till I can't, and then I leave it and I come back the next day. I'm not one that needs to clean up before, because what I've learned about the style of work person I am is I kind of need some busy work to get my mind going before I just jump right into creativity. So it's easier for me to set up myself each day rather than to clean up my space before I go to bed. Probably backwards from the majority of things that we were taught growing up. And I know all of our parents meant well, but they didn't realize they were raising children with ADHD, because ADHD looked like hyperactivity when I was a kid. It didn't look like a neurological dysfunctional mind, if you will. So I just have learned over the years that I just got to figure it out for myself and figure out what works for me. And here I am. Okay, so I'm going to use this palette tonight. Michelle is doing some church stuff, so she's not going to see probably most of this happen, but that's okay. She'll get it. I wanted to show you a ceramic piece that I made. It is a very dirty cup because I use it all the time. But this was made out of dark chocolate clay. Here on the, oopsie, I'm spilling over here. And I put some little cherry blossoms in the bottom of the cup here and all around to wash your brush on. And then it's got a brush rest here. So digging this one. This one's really fun. So that one's going to hang out with us tonight too. A little bit. And I'm going to use this palette. It's got all different types of brands of paint in it. I think the primaries in here are Daniel Smith. So yeah, let's see. So I think, what I was going to do is just my other palette here and probably give it a good spritz. Probably use this one. I don't want to mess with the colors that are on there because I want to reuse it. I know what I was using it with. So I'm just going to give this one a good swipe. I was using this with gouache. Get my Christmas one out. I don't know if it's dirty. Let's see. Yeah, my Christmas one is like slightly out of control. That's just how I paint, though. I like to have lots of palettes so I don't have to clean up after a project. I do have the wood burner on and hot still in case I want to touch up here. Here we go. Okay. Hello and welcome, friends. Let's see. I have too much water. I have to remember the size brushes I'm using. This is a 12 Princeton Select. I happen to really like these brushes. I get them at Blix. I am battling some pretty nifty dehydration today, so my brain gets real foggy when that happens, so I apologize ahead of time. This bottle doesn't like to spray at certain angles for any reason, but the other bottle does, so I always forget which bottle I'm using. I'm just cleaning off some of this yellow here. Get this light on. The sun is going down, so it's getting dark in here quickly. Yeah, so I'm just getting rid of some of this green because I'm a sloppy watercolor painter. I just don't really care. I'll figure out what I need as I go. It's kind of how I work. But I'm going to use primaries today. I might add in some of these other colors, but hi, Lori. Well, thank you. I'll see you when you get back. So there we go. Incense going in here. I think I want to put incense on. All right, I'm super nervous. I don't know if you can tell I'm procrastinating here. So let's get some blue. Let's get some blue up here. Let's just do it, guys. Let's stop procrastinating and being scared. Just step to it. Oh, not fun. Don't do that. Got too many mishaps going on already. Let's get some of this blue or yellow. Yellow. Danielle Smith is a beautiful color. I also have all of these colors in here, but I decided I wanted to work from a small palette tonight and not have to keep reaching back and forth over to all of my other, like the mass amounts over there. So what I was saying before is I typically will, I have all of my colors over here, and then I have individual palettes that I can work from, and then I also have palettes like this that are pre-set up. So that's a fun thing to do for me. And I need a little bit of red over here. I use a lot of red, I think. I use a lot of red. I'm going to put that back here. Shoot. So I'm just putting my colors here. I'm not paint from, well, that's a whole heck of a lie. I do paint from the palette, the well. That's just, it's not good practice. That's not best practice, okay? Is it something that you can't do? No, I do it all the time. But should you get in the habit, if you're new to watercoloring, get in the habit of working from a clean palette, not in your wells. You can clean out your wells and all the things, but if you want true color and true color mixing in theory, you want to kind of don't do what I do. But we want to learn. Yes, learn the right way. Do as I say, not as I do, my mom says. All right. So I'm gonna pick something here. I'm gonna go with this pumpkin over here. So I'm gonna grab some orange colors, right? But before I do orange, what I want to do is put a little bit of blue on the actual page. So in these areas that I want it to be much darker, I'm going to grab some blue before I start. Give it a chance to soak in. So where I've burned the page with the wood burner, it is going to be a little bit more resistant to the color because it has like almost like a resin that builds up on it. Acts like wax. It becomes very waxy feeling. It's actually a really cool texture to kind of feel. Just you feel the lines, you feel the different depths of burnt. It's very tactile also. And when I'm using this blue, like such a minuscule amount, like it really is just and these you have to be careful because Daniel Smith is extremely pigmented. A little goes all the way, not a long way, but all the way. And that's another thing about when people come to me and they say, "Hey Jess," because I get this often. "Hey Jess, what brand is the best brand to get? If I'm gonna start watercoloring, like what do I get?" And I literally don't ever know how to answer that question because what you buy has a lot to do with your paint style. If you are, I mean, gosh, it's like, how do you decide you like a certain type of car? Or, hi, baby, a certain type of car or whatever. It's the same thing because it fits you and your lifestyle. That's why. It's so picking out a brand of paint isn't like, oh, let me just go get the best that's out there. Um, Sometimes you don't need to do that. Sometimes what you're trying to achieve, you won't be able to get that in those fancy brands. I reach for my budget brand paint far more than I reach for my professional brands. To tell you the truth, I reach for my own more than anything. And I don't have a prejudice against paints. Like, they're all out here, and I paint for color. I don't paint for if I want it darker, I know how to make it darker. If I don't want to make it lighter, I make it lighter. The reason I picked Daniel Smith in these primary colors is because I went on a whole mission of learning just primary colors and how to make them work. Now, everything I'm telling you, I'm not a professional. I'm not trained. I'm not educated in this. I am just a YouTube student, a University of YouTube student. I go to the University of YouTube, University of Instagram, Pinterest, Google. I've been to a lot of colleges. And more than anything, just I wanted to try everything. So I did. I think most of it. I'm not actually like saying I have it all because I do not. And I don't even want it all because to have it all means I have to store it. and I'm feeling a little guilty these days over having so many supplies and not using them that I'm really trying to reach for things that I do not use or haven't used over the years. that they're still sitting here pristine and pretty and never used. I have a lot of that, and um, I have downsized, and I don't know. There's a new term now for it. I think it's like I don't know, ungiving. I don't. I don't know what they're trying to say out there, but I've been watching some colorists that have been offloading their stash over the years because my goodness, I mean, artists have a lot of things, right? But colorists have everything. They have everything. And it's just wild how much we have. Not all of us, Gosh, when I say something, I'm not meaning everyone. I truly, truly try to believe and never and always. There's really no such thing. We always have to live in that gray, not in the always and the never, because they don't exist. So I don't know. What do you do when you want to learn something new? I was scared to holy heckin' death to learn how to watercolor paint. I don't know why, but it scared me to so much. Like I can't even. If you even knew like my whole story and how I started watercoloring and all this stuff, like it's so dramatic. But hello, it's real true. I really went through this weird thing thinking I was not good enough to even buy watercolors. Like you don't buy watercolors unless you know what you're doing. The heck? Oh my gosh, was I wrong? I was so wrong. I absolutely realized how to do more art the moment I started doing watercolor. When I started making watercolor, that was when I was like, oh, color theory, here we come. And I am like formally um, educated in watercolor through going to beauty school. It's funny, Sarah and I were talking about this the other night. She's like, how'd you learn? Well, I've continued to learn over the years. And one of the things that has always blown my mind is how fast watercolor came to me, understanding it. And not another thing in this world comes easy to me. It's like the only thing in the world that I look at and I go, ooh, I get it. I'm even not hey Lori, welcome back. Maybe I'm not saying like the only thing. That's a little like it's a little out there, okay? But yeah, I definitely have been on a huge mission, huge mission um, to learn how to paint with watercolor. And so I created my own also, taking it a step further to understanding watercolor theory. So right now what I'm doing, because this blue is still pretty wet here, I'm trying to get a pretty dry brush and only water on just the tip. And it's like not easy to do, especially with these bigger, fattier brushes. But what I'm trying to do is mix some of this yellow or orange. I want to make some orange here, and I want to drag it up against some of this wet blue. So I'm adding in this orange next to it, hoping that some of it will run into it. Just push it back just a little bit. Because even if it doesn't soak into the other color, hold on guys, sorry. Even if it doesn't soak in the way I want, the whole area is still wet. So it will like soften a little bit. And the wonderful, beautiful thing about watercolor is we get scared because those lines are like there and you're like, I don't know. Those lines are beautiful. Hello, Robin. Hi, I have to just say hello. I'm super sleepy. I read these books today and I did my personal Bible study. I don't think I'm going to be awake for another 30 minutes. All right. Well, I appreciate you stopping in and showing support. And you can be here as long as you can be here, and I'm always going to respect that. Thank you, Robin. So I'm also keeping in mind where I've already decided the shadow is. So all I'm doing is laying kind of into it so that it shows the blue and the orange. So blue, it's like a wet little river here and a wet little river here. You just want to create like a little creek so that they go, oh, hello. You know, that's what you're trying to do. I'm always trying to do that. Like, and then some of these areas are a little bit more dry, and I'll use that to my advantage also. I will come in here and drag this up that blue because that blue is going to turn into like a grayish color. And I'm just going to come back here and add a little bit of that orange in all of these back areas that I know I'm like, oh, that's so dark. Remy, no barking. He says, fine. So you want to be patient when watercoloring. That's what I've learned, no matter what. How dry and how wet something is matters. It matters. Is there a puddle there? Is there not? Don't touch it. If you touch it, it's going to make it muddy. If you, so it's just get out a piece of paper and have a whole play, you know, play with it. Like, make sure you understand, drop more pigment, pick more pigment it up, needs less water. Just like the same way we learn how to cook, you know, all those things. I don't know. How do you learn how to vacuum nice? You know, just try it. So I'm just giving this illusion of blue and orange. And also I really want this blue to be a little bit warmer. So I'm going to add more orange back here and on top. So I want to kind of like, oh, this is a cool color pumpkin. I don't really want it to look like your traditional pumpkin, or would I have gone that wild with the blue? No, that's not my style. So I don't want to do anything else to it. I do have to come back and visit it. Okay, yeah, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry at all. Take your time, do your thing. You got to live your lives. Like I'm on my live. You got to live your life. I mean, I'm about to like go bonkers with a puppy out there. So I'm actually going to mix now some green. And at this point, I want to add a little wincy bit orange. And just because I want it to be a little bit more of like almost like a smoky, Remy, outside. Like a smokier green. So I'm going to start doing this down here. It's, sorry. It very much overwhelms me. And a lot of times what I do as an artist, this probably doesn't make sense, but I'll go in and tackle the areas that stress me out the most and get it out of the way because I want to enjoy my picture as much as I can. And if I'm over here avoiding something the whole time I'm doing this, I won't enjoy it. So I come back in and get rid of that spot that I just made an oopsie poopsie on. That's a beautiful thing about watercolor. We can't be afraid of watercolor. You can do anything. It's fantastic. Seems like pretty much everyone is busy tonight. Maybe everyone's at movie night, Tuesday cheap movie nights. But it's okay. Somebody can watch this later, maybe. And worst case scenario, I put my headphones on and I jam out. That's worst case scenario. Hey, be nice. Be nice. You're okay. You're okay. Oh, you are back. Go to the window. Lay down. This kid is very talented. Now I know why they put these wiener dogs in these little dog competitions, because they can do anything. They will do anything. They're so incredibly courageous. Hey, stop. What is going on? I'll be right back. Ooh. Goodness gracious. Like a dog storm, It's like a full-blown dog storm. This is my water bottle today. I'm gonna mix some liquid IV soon. Wee. Getting up like that is not an easy task for me. I feel like I was just jogging, down the neighborhood. Forgive me while I try to catch my breath again. To mix a little bit of this. A lot of people will say, but Jess, you used all your paint. How do you know? I don't have another color like that. Your eye will start to train itself the more you work with just primaries as to what you're needing. I can't explain it other than you start to understand the transparency you're working with and what you need. Like right now, I'm not looking for a lot of the actual color I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to make a concentrate of it so that I don't have to keep making it, if that makes sense. I'm also at a point where I can start to go darker on my piece. So I'm just going to, it's okay. All the different color greens are going to um, make sense. It is our responsibility as the artist to make sure you make enough paint to paint the area that you need. So that's a lot of artists will over pour, if you will. Just to ensure that they have enough. And so normally, so my style on this is that I will paint the backgrounds and I'll leave um, the main characters and main objects in it. I don't want to paint everything. The purpose is to be able to see both types of arts merge, I think. And that's kind of how I like to do it. I have this color that I made. I call it garden because it's literally such a cool green color that you can kind of lighten up and then add some yellows and just go from there. It's a good base color that I used to have on my website. And um, our goal for Sarah and I is to get our website back up probably. I mean, we didn't anticipate all of this stuff in our life right now. So we'll probably get our website back up and going on probably closer to the summer. That's my guess. Obviously, Sarah's not here to participate in that conversation. Um, but I think that's kind of what we've been gearing up for, trying to get me in a better position health wise so that I have the um, ability to run the business, I suppose. I'm just tapping. I kind of like it when grass looks a little messy because grass is messy, right? Like, if you ever seen like one color of grass, it's like blade after blade. Lori, are you still here? And if you are, how are you? I hope Amy's okay today. Oh, I think it's funny that there's some random grass here, and are they must be like standing outside of what a store or what? Because why do we have grass and why do we have hanging things? It's really hard for me to decide what the focus of this picture was. As adorable as Klara Markova is, not really understanding her thought process or also some of her dimensions. It's been pretty interesting to think about. Um, I think I'm going to go with a purplish background. And I need a lot. So I'm going to try and get off as much pigment as I can before I go get some red. The trick to purple is just keep mixing until you get your right purple. A little too much blue, a little too much red. and keep going. So this is a very purpley, I'm sorry, reddish, because I grabbed a lot of red. So I gotta, what I'm doing over here is dipping um, water here, and I am going to go back and grab more of, like, as much blue as I can to get this as a cooler. I want a cooler purple. Remy, working, working. So this is like blue, like, what do they call that? Borderline indigo purple. I don't know. But it's similar because I'm going to drop a bunch of water in there and see that this color is really honestly what I'm looking for. I'm putting it over here so it doesn't dry out as fast, so I can dig from there too once I get closer. It is a lot of work to watercolor. It's not a lazy man sport, especially if you are like me and all over the page, literally. So I'm going to start in the middle because this is the area I typically will. I'll either start on the outside perimeter or I start in the very center if I can. And I'm trying to get a decent actual like wash on there versus leaving strokes right now, so that I can come back in and darken up this area. I will usually put a wash on something that I know I'm going to come back and add a ton of color to. I want my lightest color to be this color. I want it to be like they're outside with all these different, I don't know, feels around them. So now you can see I'm tapping down, adding darkness to these areas here. And I'm tap, 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 tap. And if I don't like that line, I push it out. I start pushing it out. Circle it. I just really play with the water. That's all I do. Very satisfying. You know how they have scrapbook cruises? Do you think they would have like colorist cruises? Do you think there's enough of us in this world that would go? That's crazy, right? Crazy thought. Remy? No. No. Ruger, lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. Remy. Hey. Hey. Boys, all done. Sorry, guys. The sun is out longer tonight, so they can still see the whole neighborhood. Come on. Come on. I'll be right back. Let's go. Come on. Go. Come on. Ay, ay, ay. Whew, that's a lot. Hey, Lori. I'm having a hard time, like with my tachycardia today. I have for the last few days. It comes and goes. Like sometimes it's worse than others. It's always like there. It's just some days feel like they're impossible. But I'm doing all right. How are you, Lori? I hope Amy was able to give you the message. I had given her my phone number, and I thought, well, why don't we all just like have a group chat, and then that way we can exchange stuff there too, and that way it's fast and all in the same spot. We can all see it. But I can understand if that's not something that you want to do or whatever. It's also a lot of keeping track of. That's okay, Lori. Thank you though. Oh, okay. Maybe I just have missed messages or she hasn't had a chance to get back to me today. I don't know. One or the other. I hope she's doing okay though. It's so fun when I add color because I can really start to see where I was thinking about like the depth of the characters. I haven't done this yet because I'm not sure. I outlined the palette, but I was thinking about coloring that and leaving the characters without color. Just adding a few things of color and keeping the characters. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going and see how it all evolves, I guess. Oh, okay, yeah. Yep, family first, all the things. I discovered the dogs won't settle down until the sun starts going down. So basically the same technique as I explained about the pumpkin. You can see how vibrant the pumpkin is. Hello, hello, Amy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's your evening? How was your day? Is Tuesday better than Monday? Michelle right now is listening to her church online. Um, and she said, "Hey, get out of here, mister. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here." I'm okay. Thanks for asking. Get down. Get down. Come on. No, mommy's working. Mommy's working. Here. Other than having some issues with tachycardia today, I'm doing all right. I'm having a hard time. Normally, I can get up and down and do like most of my ritual with the dogs and all that stuff and get myself going. But today, I'm like every time I get up, I'm like I feel lightheaded and all the things. I'm having a seat. Also, I'm drinking Gatorade and trying to hydrate fast. The faster I hydrate, the better it'll be. Like I'm empty and I have to fill myself up. It's like every time I sleep, I'm back to being dehydrated because I can't just like consume while I sleep. So, Lori, Amy, what do you think about this art that I'm doing right here. Amy, you're sweet. Sarah's, yeah, she's working and she has to work overtime pretty much all week. Um, yeah, this is a lifetime of me dealing with this, but I'm learning my limitations and what I can and can't handle, and also stress makes this all 1,000 times harder because my immune system wants to shut down when I'm or attack when I'm under a lot of stress. And needless to say, I've been under a huge amount of stress, as you all know, because I'm pretty transparent with you. Uh, oh yeah, no, you don't have to have interest. This is like a different thing. I'm trying to figure out how I can merge quite a few things that I'm interested in. I love to wood burn. It's extremely like relaxing. It's very therapeutic for me. And I want to figure out how to add, my loves. I love to watercolor. I love to color, period. How do I incorporate stuff like that into my own type of art? Not necessarily for my coloring books. I love taking the coloring book images and doing this just because I'm so, delighted by, so many artists' work, and it's my way of celebrating them and what they do and what they bring to our coloring community, I guess. But um, yeah, I mean, it's just no, we don't have to always be interested in what the other person's doing, but like in general, do you find it to be like interesting? If I don't do that, Lori, what I end up doing is kind of leaving my hobbies like alone for too long, if that makes sense. I will forget about my interests and hobbies and things like that, and then then I go through this guilt of, oh, I don't do anything and how come, and like instead of continuing to do that to myself, I just decided like let's try to incorporate them. No different than I do ceramics, right? So I make watercolor things. I make palettes, I make watercolor cups, I make brush rests, I make all these different things that go into watercoloring and I can also use in my coloring world. So as many like I have all these interests, but they all go back to the central thing of art. I love art. I love art supplies. I love artists. I love it all. And of course, Lori, nobody needs to geek out on this stuff the way I do. I don't know if there's enough energy in this world for people to do that. I'm just a little special over here. That's all. doing the most I can, keeping my brain busier than my thoughts. That's what I do. 'Cause sometimes it's not so fun. And it's just like my healthy way of dealing with it. Or unhealthy. Whatever it is, the way I deal with it. Hello, baby. Is it a busy night, Sarah? Or has it started to calm down? It's really tired. It was rooming that night. Yeah. Lay down. You're just standing there wobbling like you're going to fall asleep right now. Off the record. Yeah. What if I looks really interesting and nice. I thought I could. I would. You know what, Amy? They have very inexpensive, well, I guess inexpensive as in compared to like the wood burner that I have, that work great. And if you wanted to try this, you would just pick up a wood burner and some hot press, like 300 hot press paper. The better the quality, the better the results. And then you have all the other things. Like you might need some watercolors or whatever, but you can slowly start picking up those things. Don't go rush off and do it right away. But honestly, you can do this. If you can color, you can do this. Okay, what was the question? Ooh, never mind. I figured it out. Okay. That sounds scary, Amy. Amy, busy all day, finally settling, thankfully. That's good, babes. I was hoping there would be like a calm after the storm kind of a day for you. Hmm. It's definitely showing up darker on my side than it is on your side. Rem. No. No. Stop. Hey. No. Ruger, enough. Go lay down. So what did everyone do today? I'm not sure if that was a loose hair on here or if that was like an actual something there. I don't know. I'm talking to myself at this point. I watched a news report today. Two dogs called 911 16 times. Oh my gosh. Sarah, do you ever get stuff like that? Or shall I say, do you guys get stuff like that? Not just you, the team. Oh my gosh. I did a little cleaning and made a video. Yeah, I'm going to catch up on my videos after live. I'm excited for you to go live on Friday, Lori. I'm waiting for Amy to be willing to go live. What do we got to do to get Amy to go live? Like once a week, maybe? It takes practice. And the good thing is we're all here to help. Right, Lori? It's a lot of work. It's also a lot of energy. So I understand if people don't want to. I did a little, yeah, me too, Lori. I mentioned it. Oh, yeah. It's stressful. It is. It is stressful. I think people don't realize what it's like to be live or to make videos or to create content in any way. It's stressful. It's stressful and it's intimidating and overwhelming sometimes. Learning how to concentrate on what you're doing and also engage is a very, very interesting skill to learn. Amy says, yes, all the above. You're not going to go live at all, ever? Like in this world? Like a never type thing? Like, nope, it's just not an option. I say never. You're already doing it when you do your content. Why? Can I ask why? May I ask why? Is it a personal thing or is it just like a confidence thing? Like, is it a scary thing to you? Yes, we do. We do. That's a universal thing. I was scared out of my mind to do live things. It was part of my growth that I did some years back. I am not confident in being a presenter. Yeah, yeah, Amy, we do. I'm nervous. I'm nervous right now. And remember, Lori, we were talking about that. It is nerve wracking, but you're just, it's like showing up. Okay, so when you first go on, it's like showing up to like an afternoon, like tea lunch with a bunch of your old buddies, and you're not sure what to say. And you sit down, you're like, okay, I'm awkward as heck. And somebody breaks the ice and says, Amy, oh my gosh, we haven't seen you in a while. Tell us what you're doing. Next thing you know, you're saying, oh my gosh, we've been traveling. It was so crazy setting up last time. And next thing you know, we're all just having a conversation. That's it. I'm going to dry this. I'll be back. Remy, back up. Mommy's working. Back up. Back up. You gotta go sit down. Come on. Okay. So one of the things, I'm putting this against a cold table so that it'll flatten out a bit more after bringing onto that heat. One of the things that I've said so many times is when you're watching or when you have a Kirby Rosanas book and you see all those little black little boop 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 lines, right? That's equivalent to what I went in here and did. I would be the artist giving it to somebody. This is where you color. This is where you shade. And this pumpkin is a good idea of that. Um, so you're gonna to create it to look a little bit more dimensional. You're just gonna darken up those spots. Now you don't have to go as dark or as whatever as I do, but you can see that that's how Kirby Rosanas is coloring for you basically ahead of time, so he knows where to tell his, tell us where to put our shading. And Kirby has taught me a ton about that. And speaking of Kirby, I'm going to do another uh, wood burn, and I am going to do this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm doing this. And Sarah's already done the line work for me. So I'm going to wood burn and paint this one. So this is the Medusa in Kirby Rosanas. So if you are into that, like come back and I will be doing this next after the one I'm working on now. So that's to come. It does. I literally sometimes look up and I'm like, how has it already been 3 hours? I have to have an alarm or somebody tell me, hey, time's up. Because even though like I love going live, I really will exhaust myself. I can keep going, and next thing you know, I won't be able to like come live for days. So I really have to like set myself up with how long I can handle something. And you can go live for 30 minutes. You don't have to go live for an eternity like I do. This is just part of me coming live every day, is a little bit of like my like homemade physical therapy, if you will. Because if not, my body will tell me, go lay down. Go lay down. You need to rest. And actually, I need to be up so I can build endurance and hopefully, I don't know. Anyway, that's what I do. And if you never do, Amy, you never do. It's okay. Oh, which one? I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking about like what are they called? Junk journaling. And I was thinking about how cool it would be for an artist to create a coloring book designed for junk journalists because they can go in and color their art, but they don't have to but they can still do all of their fun little stuff they do. And I was saying that I kept my burner on because I may find places I have to kind of touch up. And I found an area that I missed. So because this has been sitting here so long, I absolutely need to make sure I let it burn it off, basically get rid of everything that's sitting on it, the heat, everything, or else I'm going to singe the page and not be able to get the tone I'm looking for. I started on the frogs. Into my video, not very much done. All right, well, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check that out. Check it out. And I gotta tell myself, put it back because I'll keep going and keep going and keep going. But I do see where I need more shading, and so that's the lucky part about not just being done. I guess adding. What's everyone having for dinner or had? I gotta hear about the dinner. I am we are always so fed up with trying to figure out what to do. We don't buy we use all meats. We will use beef. It's not that we won't use beef. It's just the price of beef these days is so outrageous that we've just decided let's take an easy break on that one. So any other meats, we're trying to conserve on our grocery budget. Just probably like everyone else in the world because groceries have become some sort of just luxury. It's so expensive, right? I'm always wondering what everyone else is eating so I can come up with something or whatever. Help Sarah come up with something. Grilled cheese and salad. A burger. Oh, ladies, ladies, ladies. Grilled cheese sounds good. A burger sounds good. I keep talking about the freeway burgers. Freeway burgers are just so good. They're so good. They remind me of like small hole in the wall burger joints I grew up with when I lived in Southern California. We barbecue them. Wait, sorry, no help. Although Mike made bison, venison, and beef burgers. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that sounds good. Are you guys the kind of people that will barbecue even if there's snow outside? Oh yeah, we had 5 inches when he was out there. Oh heck yeah. So because like I'm from Southern California, like I grew up in I was born in Texas. Back up, back up, back up, kiddo. Mommy's working. Sit, sit. These are your toys. You play here. That's as simple as it gets. There you go, buddy. Come on, get down. Get him. Here. Thank you. I'm from Southern California, but well, I was born in Texas. Was there till I was 3, and then I lived in California majority. I lived in Colorado for a short time. Um, but I moved to Oregon when I was 29, nearly 30. But when I moved out to Colorado, people thought I was nuts because I was literally willing to just barbecue in the snow. It was amazing. I was like, this is great. I don't have to be hot. Took longer to cook the meat though in the snow, I will tell you. But I brought my California ways with me in Colorado, and people in Colorado don't really like at the time. They really were like, "Get out of our state." They were a little. I would drive down the road because we didn't transfer our Colorado plates over yet right away. We waited till it was time, and I would literally be just driving down the freeway, and people would be flipping me off. Just maybe because I had California plates. And in California, we have so many different people from so many different places that's not how people behave there. People don't like shun the outsider like that. It's weird. It's weird behavior to us. So when I came to Oregon, because that's where I landed for years, 15, 16 almost years I was in Oregon. And they're much more passive aggressive about not liking Californians. So that's a little bit different. Lots to learn about the way they maneuvered their mind. And so now I live in a different area. And yeah, it's a whole lot different too. It's hard to navigate new areas. I am freezing tonight. I am. I even have like my hoodie over my head tonight. I cannot temperature regulate for any reason tonight. Does anybody have any good shows they're watching? I'm always up for a new show because I just spend a lot of time doing art, and Netflix becomes my friend. No shows, Amy? What do you do while you color? And don't do like me. Always have more than one water dish if you're gonna watercolor. It'll be better, more friendly to you. Back up, buddy. Mommy's working. Mommy's working. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Back up. Back up. You listen to books. I usually watch old programs, but I'm watching the new Matlock. Well, that's fun. Sarah and I usually will listen to murder mysteries or unsolved mysteries or unsolved like cold cases. We like stuff like that. Also, if Keely comes around, I did find my duck and it was gone because my dang dog decided to try and eat it and then realized he can't eat it because it's toxic. So I still have it, but it's not in the same condition. Well, Lori, even though you don't like things like you wouldn't want to do this yourself, I do appreciate you being here and keeping me company. What are you doing, monks? You being love? Come on. I have a sweatshirt on like mama, so you think you can come lay with me like this? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I like being here. You guys have been some really amazing company. Remy, sit, 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 sit. Good boy. Also, if you're not active in the chat, but you're here and you want me to look at your content, like just drop a link somewhere and let me know. I love finding new colorists and products, and I love looking at completed pages and stuff like that. It isn't, you don't have to be a fancy colorist or anything like that. Uh, we all are wherever we are in our color journey, and regardless if you want to be really good at it or you don't, um, or maybe you already are and that's good enough for you, that's great too. I really don't want people to feel like they can't come join our group because they're not the best colorist in the world yet or ever, because we're all going to learn from each other. I learn from everybody, I guess. Maybe. On these nights that Sarah has to work overtime, it's like the longest nights of life. Because she gets home and she has to pretty much go to bed, so it's like 4 days of not knowing my wife, and then she has to come home. It has to be patient. It's not my strong suit. I try not to make her feel guilty about having to be away so much, because this is what she does to take care of us. But I also want her to know she's missed. The dang fine line between everything, right? Always learn something. You're right. I've been working on my backgrounds more lately. I've actually been going back to some of my whips and creating backgrounds and like polishing it up a little bit more. And uh, it's interesting to go back to a lot of my whips that I thought were like done, and lo and behold, I had like what it would be for me is like barely starting these days. Just seeing the growth in myself, I guess. And it really excites me to keep going, I think, because it just shows me that a year or two from now, I'm going to look back and go, oh my gosh, that even from now. It's really quiet when Sarah isn't there. Yeah, I know. She keeps us entertained. The house is a lot more alive. The boys are excited she's home. I'm excited she's home. The energy is different when Sarah's here, for sure. Sarah makes us have a happy home. I also think the boys know a little, like they know I can't handle as much as when Sarah's around. So they give Sarah a run for her money, I think. That test tells Sarah all the time, before I was doing live, like the boys are so quiet when you're gone. But there's days where they are just rascals that they won't settle down till she gets home. Like we don't have any quiet till she walks through the door. I don't know. Okay. I'm adding the color to the palettes right now, but obviously just using my primaries. Oopsie, oopsie, poopsie. I gotta put it in the correct color lineup. Hello. Silly willies. Oh, friends, I need one of those like prompt things that like I can ask questions and like then you guys can answer them back. When Sarah and I first started dating, we would go on trips and stuff, and we had this box of, I don't know the name of it. She would be able to tell you, but she introduced it to me, and it's a like a box full of questions that you can like ask like a new partnership or a new relationship, and then they have ones for friends. They have one for like all different types of company you can keep, and I thought that would be fun. Sarah and I talked about that a couple times. I'm making brown right now. I'm just going to go in and darken up some of the areas that I've already made dark with the wood burner. Add some shadows in here. I left it really plain, so wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I can always come back in here and burn over these colors if they need more burn shadows. I'm an open book cook. Oh, that's cool. I think that's cool. Um, is that like how Sarah and I cook, where we just like go in there and fix? You like to cook from a cookbook? Is it at all starting to come alive? Mom says, "Yeah, Mom, be quiet. It's sleeping." I think this is gonna need a little bit more burning. Cool. I'm an open book. Cool. Not cook. And about the game. Ah, yeah, it's a really cool one. Um, the one that Sarah and I have, it asks questions like about like partnership and like where you can see yourself or how you fall on different types of question like topics, and it's just a break the ice, kind of have an excuse to talk about some of the maybe more serious things in life with that type of card deck. But um I don't know, I'll have to look into this, see if we can start like a little series on just playing like games on, or like answering questions like that, you know what I mean? I just think it's fun. Everyone has such different answers. It's so fun to like get to know each other that way. Amy, how's hubby today? And also Lori, how's family doing today? How's mom? How are the moms? How's everyone? Okay. I remember your husband works like different hours too, right, Amy? 2 to 11. Oh, 11 to 11. Yes. Yes, it's a long. I'm glad you have coloring, because it could be lonely. But you also got your pup, right? Yeah, I think so. I'll tell you right now, many times in my life, coloring has saved my mental health. Many, many times. Used to be a very serious, like, mental health crutch for me almost. Like, I always brought coloring with me, and I always felt like, well, if I could just color, I can tune out, so I'll be all right. So I took it everywhere I went. It helped, actually. It helped me kind of be more present in those tough situations because I knew, like, if I had to, I could just bust out coloring. Yeah, bully's your bestie. Yes. These pups are annoying for me as all get out, but I cannot imagine not having them. It's like children. You can't live with them and you can't live without them. I'm working on trying to get this out to Michelle before the end of the week. I was hoping she could have it before the weekend because um, she might be able to go home on Friday. And so, if all goes well, I was trying to have this so she could have something open when she gets home. Yeah, it's very interesting how coloring can really yank you out of a lot of different loneliness and misery and illness, and that's why for me, it's so vital. It's not important; it's vital for me to build community because I can't go outside very much, and I mean, even just to like walk to the mailbox, like those are really not things that are just like in my life anymore, and so I was really in a position where I was ready for Sarah and I to like start our life with like new friends and all these things. And mentally, that's where I was at. But physically, I wouldn't be the best friend because I can't guarantee you I can show up, depending on my health. And so, building community has been very important to Sarah and I. And so, giving it the good old tried and true here has been a priority because of it. Or at least for me. I mean, I'm not saying we couldn't make, outside friends. But for me, I would have to not be able to do as much. You're just knocking things around with your big old nose, Rim. You're uncomfortable, huh? Right. When Sarah's home, he is very insistent about how he wants to cuddle with her. But I make him cuddle with me the way I want him to cuddle. So he just deals with it with me, and he gives her such a hard time. He won't settle with her until he's literally inside her sweatshirt, like a give hold a baby. And for a really long time, like he would just hang out and sling as we walked around. I also wanted to create live videos where if somebody wants to work on their coloring or their art or whatever they do, whatever, just put it on in the background and just kind of listen. Don't have to listen really. Like kind of just like knowing someone. That's how I'm hoping, people can like relate to my content that way. Of course, not all of it because I do other videos and shorts and stuff too, but that's my goal. Really not a video that somebody has to really process or all those things. But if they do listen back, I want them to be, feel free to ask questions in the comments after and stuff like that, and I will do my best to get back to it. Well, I'm past the halfway point, so I should probably get up and use the little girl's room. Grab some more to drink. All the things. So if you don't mind, I'm going to actually do that. And I'll be back. Get down, pup. Get down. Move. Thank you. Good job. Okie dokie. Last night, off camera, I was working on this. It's an old lit of mine. Thank you, Lori. So I started working on this last night. Johanna Basford's Worlds of Flowers. I'm finishing up my little baby snack. Remy, be careful. Be careful. Liquid Ivy in the house. Get back. It's hot. That's hot. Move. 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 No. 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 You can't be there. Hot. Oh, yeah. Let's see. I don't think I've done much in this one. Just, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe I have like tidbits. Sorry. Like I start things and I don't finish. I can't commit to much in this book. I don't enjoy the way my preferred pencils work in this book. I think this one could have been Pablo. There's literally like bits and parts I've done in this book. Hi, Amy. Welcome back. Let's see. Started some stuff there. I really like this book a lot. Started this here also. I think it's a little bit cream. I think it's just the lighting I have here. I don't know. Okay, so it is creamier because the painting paper underneath is white, and this is much more creamy than this over here. So for me, I don't enjoy doing colors or flowers. However, for me, they're more like mandala work. It feels like mandala work to me. So if I'm in a mandala type of a mood, I'll probably grab something like this to work in. the cup I have, the seal is like not good. So it likes to drip. I'm losing my liquid IV, yos. Okay, let's see. Back to the drawing board. So I'm probably going to have to mix quite a bit of brown to bring out some of the little features here too and not make them so stark. And also, friends, can you do me a favor? When I get to my halfway point live, around there, it doesn't have to be exact, can you remind me to take a break? Because I forget to take a break and then I have less enthusiasm the back half of my live. So if you can remember. I need to just set an alarm is what I need to do. At 10:30 every night for meds. You want me to say something to you then? Yes, please. Please, please, please. I need these reminders. I won't be as successful if I don't start doing that, and I would not mind humbling myself and asking for help. So I'm just going in and adding a little bit more like natural sepia almost, a little bit darker, like more of a greener base to it. Because the paper pulls so warm, I'm going to just give it some balance to some of these things. See if I can bring them alive a little bit more. I can't always go back in with the wood burner and redo it, even if I paint. Matter of fact, sometimes I do because I'll notice like, oh, I need more texture here or there. I think one of the best, let me make sure I'm understanding the question. It says, "Isn't the whole picture burned? The stuff in the back." So I didn't burn like the background. I only burnt the objects because I had planned to paint the background, um, and maybe some of the objects and the pictures and stuff like that. Does coming closer help you see what it is? Also, the burning marks, I think, come up way darker on the image than they are in here. They're very sepia toned. And basically, that's what I'm doing is starting my picture off with the sepia tone. Sometimes, mixing a little bit of a brown purple because it create really good shadows color. And I'm going to leave these piles of color here. Then I will go back and smooth them out once I get my lines a little bit closer to what I'm looking for. And then I'll go out back and smooth anything I don't like. Ah, yeah, you're welcome, Lori. I'm sure it's probably pretty hard to see. Like, I don't know, probably hard to see. It's not the best setup. I will keep improving on it. I'm anxious to see this when it's done. Absolutely. Thank you. I'm excited too. I've done this a few times now. I've done some images from coloring books on wood also. That was fun working with acrylic paint. I also work with watercolor on it too. I I like to work with. I'm learning to work with acrylic paint. That's not a strong suit of mine by any stretch of the nature. Um, but I'm trying to understand the medium more. But I sometimes really love how bold you can get. I did. This is the sign for I love you, and in our life, we use a lot of sign language because my oldest son is nonverbal, and it's the best way for him to be able to quickly get simple commands or questions out. And um, so we've been saying like I love you all of his life, all of our life to him. Um, and so our youngest son, I outlined his finger or his hand with an I love you. It's actually this way. and all the details in the hand and stuff like that. And so I would burn that and then painted bold one color behind it. And that piece of wood is like extremely like um, momentous for me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really nervous about her face. For better or for worse, here it's gonna go. So I have to get on the bandwagon with it. Worst case scenario, I start completely over. And if I have to do that, it only meant I needed more practice. So there's always that. So, in other words, let's go. Let's do this. I'm always intimidated to paint, color, create small faces. They're not my jam. They intimidate the living daylights out of me. But we're going to give it a go. Let's do it. Let's see how it happens. See if we can come up with something we like. So that's still really wet. It'll dry differently. But the start of the shading of her face. So what I did is I laid down a base for her. I got to dry that before I can move on. But what I do need to do is pick up some more paint and put it on the palette. And I'm in love with this palette. You may not be able to see it in here. This is a mermaid tail and it's dimensional. It's like it can rub my brush on here and it looks like underwater sea in here because there's resin in here. My niece was asking me the other day if I've ever done any resin work, and yes, I've done a lot of resin work. But this has been my favorite project that I've ever done is this one. I think it's also important to understand how often I'm dipping and wiping. Like the whole combination is very important. And there's these little spots here where I can like push up against them and make little wells. See, I'm making like orange, right? But I'm going to add quite a bit more, even though I'm only going to be making a small space. Sometimes I feel like I need more freedom and mass. So I have like this, technically cheating here, purplish color over here. I'm going to add to it. So now I'm going to heavily saturate this, heavily, and see what I came up with. And I think I'm happy. So I'm barely using a very dry brush, like push all of that out. See how much water was in that? Push all that out and then shape it back. When it's really, really tight, shape it back. I'm going to train your brush to work for you. My brush is a little damaged here, but that's part of life. Oops, I'm not even showing you. Get her done. Yes, Amy. So it's firm. So this color that I made, I only want on the tip of this. I don't want it to absorb all the way back. Eep a little bit off. And then I'm going to start going back over these areas. And this is a little bit like darker pigmented. Let me see if I can bring this up to you. It's a little bit darker pigmented than I would normally go, meaning a little bit more red or a little bit more something. But I'm wanting to use this because I'm going to create even more layers. I'm just building a layer I can work with. And forgive me, I'm literally lifting my elbow up in the air so you guys can see this. I'm going to grab a little bit of this yellow that's over here, and I'm going to put this in this area with different colors. Push up, push up, push up. You're going to create, like those of you that have like a moisturizing regimen will understand that you push and you pull on certain places of your face. And those are the same areas you're going to be creating shadows. So she's back to a neutral color. I'm actually going to go dry her because she's going to get a little bit too saturated. Remy, get down. Get down. That's not yours. Get down. Move. Thank you. So she's like a little bit too green right now. You see how she's too green? But I know that because I put that base on there and I'm building back up. I'm adding more depth to her now. So I'm going to come in with some pinky, peachy tones and keep building her up. A little bit more saturation in my color. Yep, there you are. And dilute. Do not be afraid to dilute. If you've got good paper, you can handle it. It can handle it. Build those layers. That's what makes watercolor so beautiful, is the layers that you get to see in it. Stop. Sorry, Remy is being a difficult creature to me right now. He wants to put himself up against my things. He likes to put the pressure. It's pressure. She's very resistant because I've gone over her whole face with wood burning. So she's going to be more resistant. You just have to be patient. Let those layers build. And her hands too. Her hands need to be worked on also because I left like a purplish base on it. Because she's going to be a little bit more shadowed. So I'm going to keep drying her. I would say if you really are ever going to try this, going back, I would probably leave her face unburned. Apply the color and then go back and go burn again. However, perhaps I think I might add some more to it now because this is going to add a warmer glow to it. And I also don't want to get too warm either. Ah, I'm putting lines where they don't belong. This tool is so good for those hard lines. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thanks for telling me. Everyone's like, hello. Yes, you said. Next time I'll take a break at this time because I had just taken one not too long ago. But I thank you for it this time. Thank you, Amy. Okay. She got a long nose. They drew her with a long nose. I don't know if I've ever done a portrait with an exaggerated feature like that. I was remembering when I first started going live on YouTube under a different name. My brother used to come to my lives and he would cheer me on, tell me I was doing good and that he was impressed. Yeah, they are very strange, aren't they? I feel like, you know, it's very interesting. I watched a video the other week or whatever, and there was this gal, and she was doing a book review, a coloring book review. And she was talking about a specific artist and how she didn't like the artist for a really long time because she felt like maybe the artist's pictures weren't as developed as they are today. And I think that's like something I would ask Clara is to like maybe focus a little bit more on the human characters. They're not horrible by any stretch. I mean, the worst to me is Maria I say trolle. People say troll. Um, those are the worst to me, and even she's gotten better at it. But drawing little people isn't easy either. Things are often not like very close to scale, and I don't know. I'm not a illustrator, so I can't really say, oh, try this or try that. I can't really do that, but I will say, as someone that's coloring it, I have dabbled a little bit in drawing. making small humans isn't easy. Making a human isn't easy, like drawing one. And the art is so whimsical and the people are so whimsical in this book, but maybe maybe a little bit more proportional. That's all. So that we can make the images a little bit more appealing. I hope that's a nice way to say it. I hope I didn't just like cut my nose off in spite of my face, if you know what I mean. A helicopter overhead. I hope everything's okay. I know, I do think that. I think you should just, I would buy the books even more and twice and three times and four times over and over and over if they didn't have the strange little people in it. I have the books, but you know what I mean? Like, I'd be more thrilled about it. I would definitely show off art more in them. Uh-oh. Her flowers are amazing and stringy. Hmm. This and before done. Yeah. Yeah, the stringy hair and their faces are small. sometimes it makes squeaky noises on paper, and I really don't like it. It's like nails on a chalkboard, at least, or that marker sound. I don't like the marker sound either. I got it. It's okay. I do too. I am so guilty of that. I've had so many people, Lori, go, "Oh my gosh, you don't like the people in her book?" I'm like, no, how could I? I can't color them. I flat out can't color them. Lori, that makes me laugh because I can't tell you how many times I've thrown my own personal fit at how much I love an image or the whole picture, and then they put just random character that doesn't even belong in the whole scene. And she's just randomly sitting there. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to throw that idea out the door because she has no business being there. And I don't know, maybe if she just made a whole book of just little characters all over, kind of like Lulu Mayo does with her people, maybe they would have a place out there, but not for me. They're not going to ever be for me. I don't care where she puts them in the book. They're not for me. And I hardly reach for them anymore because they literally just don't do it for me. And I feel like I get too distracted by it and I really can't color anymore. And then I start doubting myself. And it's just this vicious cycle. Do you ever do that? Are there any artists out there that you feel like that about? I am in love with all of her flowers and her things and all that stuff. It's just the people. I don't want the people there. I've been trying really hard not to be rude about that, but perhaps, perhaps my opinion is allowed. Still makes me laugh. Like thick stick people. It's exactly what they are. Oh my goodness. How about this Kirby Rosanis wood burn that I'm about to do? I think that's nuts. It's nuts, right? For me to do that. I think it's gonna be fun for me. I might do it with wood burning and marker. I might. really deep dive into those like green, the snake and all that stuff. I think it'd be so cool. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, but I think it's going to be worth it. Amy, Lori, I had asked Amy, but is it okay if I mention you in my video, my closing February out video? Perfect. I just, I didn't think that you would care, but I also wanted to respect people's boundaries in it because I know not everybody feels the same way about it. Oh, I don't ever care. I don't care. You can mention, I'm sorry, I was in my own little world over here thinking. Um, you can mention me, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, like Amy has said, like that's how we build community is by helping. I've said we build community by helping each other, and um, I would think it's a great thing to be supporting each other and showing that we're a friendly group and that we care about working with other people and all those things. So I think it's great. The heat coming off this thing is outrageous. Burns my fingertips. Not like burns the skin or anything, but it's like hot. Hot, 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 hot. You don't have to worry. I'm really not that sensitive of a person. I know there's a lot of people out there with so much sensitivity, and I respect that. I don't walk in their shoes, but I'm not really sensitive that way. Oh, what time do I have? Yep, I've got 3 minutes. Well, friends, it's definitely been fun. I'm not done. I have so much more to go on this, but I'm sure I'll get there one day. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you so much for being here again and again and again. And I'm sorry I was absent last night. I needed a mental shutdown. And boy, did I. I literally couldn't get out of my head yesterday. It was a really tough one. And thanks so much for being here and helping me do exactly that is get out the reality of life and present in my artwork. So thank you guys. I hope you all have a good evening and we'll see you again manana. Toodles, my noodles.